I'm rushing through the hospital corridors, my scrubs soaked in sweat, my phone buzzing with daycare calls about my crying 3-month-old. My boss corners me, smirks, and says, "You should have stayed home like a real mom. You're failing everyone here." Fast forward 6 years. I'm the one in charge, and she's the one pleading for my mercy. If you've ever been torn between your dreams and your family, only to be kicked when you're down, stick around. This is my story of turning pain into power, and trust me, the revenge tastes sweeter than you can imagine. Hello everyone, my name is Emily. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I'm a registered nurse who's also a proud mom. Today, I want to share with you a very personal story from my life, one that's raw, real, and honestly changed everything for me. This is my real life journey, and if it's ever happened to you or someone you know, it might just hit home. If you've ever felt that burning need for justice after being underestimated as a parent, hit that like button right now, subscribe for more inspiring tales, and let's dive in. You won't believe how it ends. Full narrative expansion, bulk of the script. Okay, let's go back to where it all started. I was 24 years old, fresh out of nursing school, and I'd just given birth to my beautiful baby girl, Lily. From the moment I held her in my arms, that tiny bundle with her soft, wrinkly skin and those big, curious eyes staring up at me, I felt this overwhelming rush of love mixed with pure terror. I'd always dreamed of being a mother, ever since I was a little girl playing with dolls in my grandma's living room. But no one tells you about the reality, right? The way your body aches from labor, how your hormones crash like a tidal wave, leaving you sobbing over spilled milk, literally. And then, bam, 3 months later, maternity leave ends, and you're thrust back into the world. I worked as a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital, a bustling place in downtown Seattle where the ER never sleeps. 12-hour shifts, sometimes back-to-back, dealing with everything from heart attacks to car crash victims. The fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, the constant beeps of monitors, the metallic scent of antiseptic mixed with the faint undercurrent of fear from patients and families alike. It was my world, my passion. But now, with Lily at home, every shift felt like a betrayal. I'd pump breast milk in the cramped break room, my breasts aching, tears stinging my eyes as I stared at photos of her on my phone. Am I a monster for leaving her? I'd whisper to myself in the mirror, my reflection showing dark circles under my eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail that screamed exhaustion. My husband, Alex, was amazing when he could be. He worked as an engineer, long hours in an office across town, but he'd try to help with nighttime feedings or laundry. Still, most days, it was me juggling it all. Dropping Lily off at daycare before dawn, her little fists clutching my shirt as if begging me not to go. The guilt, it was like a vice around my heart, squeezing tighter with every "mama" she cooed over the phone during my lunch breaks. I'd rush home after shifts, my feet throbbing from standing all day, only to find piles of dishes, a fussy baby, and that nagging voice in my head, "You're not enough. Not for her, not for your job." And that's when the real antagonist entered the picture, my supervisor, Karen. Oh, Karen. She was in her late 40s, sharp-featured with perfectly coiffed blonde hair that never seemed out of place, even after a code blue. She wore these crisp white coats over her scrubs, always with a clipboard in hand, barking orders like she owned the place. Karen had been at the hospital for 20 years, climbing the ranks by stepping on anyone in her way. She had this way of looking down her nose at you, her lips curling into a smirk that made your stomach twist. But what really got under my skin was her disdain for working moms. She'd openly say things like, "Back in my day, women knew their priorities," while eyeing my pump bag like it was a personal insult. It started small. I'd request a slight schedule adjustment. Maybe swap a night shift for days so I could be home for bedtime stories. Karen would laugh, that sharp, condescending chuckle echoing in the nurse's station. "Emily, sweetie, nursing isn't a part-time gig. If you can't handle it, maybe you should have thought twice about having a kid." Her words hit like a slap, my cheeks burning as colleagues averted their eyes, pretending not to hear. Inside, my thoughts raced. Who does she think she is? I've aced every certification, saved lives in that and now I'm, sweetie, who's not committed. My fists would clench under the desk, nails digging into my palms, but I'd force a smile, nod, and walk away, the anger simmering like a pot about to boil over. But it escalated. One day, Lily got sick, a high fever from some daycare bug. I called in, explaining I needed to take her to the pediatrician. Karen's voice on the phone was ice cold. "Again, Emily. This is the third time this month. Patients don't wait because your baby's got a sniffle. Get your priorities straight or find another job." I hung up, my hands shaking, tears blurring my vision as I rocked Lily in my arms, her hot little body pressed against mine. The injustice burned in my chest. Here I was, a nurse who cared for strangers' children in the pediatric ward, but my own daughter's health was dismissed as an inconvenience. That night, as Alex rubbed my back while I cried into my pillow, I felt powerless, like the world was rigged against moms like me. Why does she get to decide my worth? I'd think, staring at the ceiling, my mind replaying her smirks, her jabs, over and over. Weeks turned into months, and Karen's behavior got worse. She'd assign me the toughest patients, the combative ones, the overflow from other shifts, as if testing me. During evaluations, she'd nitpick. "Your charting's sloppy, Emily. Must be all those distractions at home." Sloppy. I'd double-check everything, my heart pounding with anxiety, but it was never enough. Colleagues whispered sympathies. "She's just jealous because she never had kids," one said, but no one stood up to her. The frustration built like a storm cloud, heavy and dark. I'd come home, collapse on the couch, Lily tugging at my leg for playtime, and I'd force energy I didn't have, all while that voice echoed, "You're drowning, and she's pushing your head under." Then came the breaking point. It was Lily's first birthday. I'd planned a small party, balloons, cake, family over. But Karen scheduled me for a mandatory double shift, claiming short staffing. I begged, explained it was my daughter's milestone. Her response, in front of the whole team, "Milestones come and go, Emily. But if you miss this shift, don't bother coming back." Real nurses put the job first. The room went silent, my throat tightening like a noose. I felt the heat rise in my face, my pulse thundering in my ears. Inside, a fire ignited. This isn't right. I won't let her steal these moments from me. That night, as I sang "Happy Birthday" to Lily over a video call from the hospital break room, tears streaming down my face, I hit rock bottom. The powerlessness consumed me. Betrayed by a system that demanded everything, underestimated as just a mom, disrespected at every turn. But in that despair, something shifted. Resolve. I wouldn't quit. I'd fight back smarter. I started planning. First, I documented everything. Every snide comment, every unfair assignment, every denied request. My hands trembled as I typed notes on my phone during breaks, the screen lighting up my tired face in the dim supply closet. If she's going to play dirty, so will I'd think, my determination hardening like steel. I leaned on other moms in online forums, hearing their stories of similar bosses, fueling my fire. Then, I upskilled. Nights after Lily slept, I'd study for advanced certifications, neonatal care, leadership courses, my eyes burning from the laptop screen, coffee going cold beside me. Alex supported me, taking extra baby duty, his encouraging words like a lifeline. "You've got this, Em. Show her what you're made of." Months passed, tension mounting. Karen amped up her games, once even reporting me for a minor med error that wasn't mine, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction as HR called me in. My stomach knotted, sweat beading on my forehead during the meeting, but I presented my evidence calmly, voice steady despite the inner turmoil. Cleared, but the close call. It made the craving for justice raw. "She thinks I'm weak," I'd monologue internally, scrubbing in for surgery, but she's about to learn. The turning point came when the hospital announced openings for charge nurse positions, supervisory roles with better pay, flexible schedules. Karen laughed when she saw my application. "You? In charge? With your family commitments? Dream on." Her words stung, but I smiled inwardly. Just wait. I prepared relentlessly. Mock interviews with Alex, poring over policies until my head spun. The interview day, my heart hammered against my ribs, palms slick as I faced the panel. I nailed it, drawing on real experiences, like calming a panicked mom in labor while thinking of Lily, to show my empathy and skill. And then, the email came. "Congratulations, Emily. You've been promoted to charge nurse." My breath caught, a whoop escaping my lips as I danced around the kitchen with Lily giggling in my arms. But the real payoff, Karen's face when the announcement hit the staff meeting. She stood there, clipboard forgotten, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. The color drained from her cheeks, her smug smirk replaced by wide-eyed shock. "But how?" she stammered, voice cracking. I met her gaze, calm and steady. "Priorities, Karen." I learned to balance mine. The room buzzed with whispers, colleagues nodding in quiet approval. But it didn't stop there. As charge nurse, I overhauled schedules, fair rotations, support for parents. Karen, now reporting to me indirectly through the chain, seethed. Then, karma struck. She faced her own crisis. Her elderly mother needed emergency surgery, landing in our ward. Karen, frazzled, cornered me. "Emily, please, ensure she's taken care of. I know I've been tough." Her voice wavered, eyes pleading. The mighty Karen, humbled. I paused, letting the moment hang, feeling the sweet rush of validation wash over me like cool rain after a drought. "Of course," I said softly. "That's what real nurses do. We put people first." Watching her shoulders slump in relief mixed with regret, I felt triumph surge through me. No gloating needed. Her humiliated expression said it all. I'd risen above, proven my worth, and shown her the resilience she'd mocked. The emotional release. It was like exhaling after holding my breath for years. Relief, joy, a fierce pride blooming in my chest. Looking back, this journey taught me that justice isn't always loud or vengeful. Sometimes it's quiet persistence, turning pain into purpose. Karma has a way of circling back, reminding us that fairness wins when we fight for it. If you're struggling with that balance, know you're not alone. Give yourself grace, and watch how resilience reshapes everything. Phew, that was intense, right? If this story fired you up or gave you that satisfying chill of payback, smash that like button and drop a comment below. What's the most epic revenge or comeback you've seen in real life? Did it involve work, family, or something else? Share your stories. I read every one. And if you want more tales of triumph over tough odds, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, you're stronger than you think. See you in the next feed.